to another episode of MPJ New Rock Album Review Show. I'm Nigel, Paul, Andy, Dom, Chris. We're all here, missing the Coast of Rock chick, who is away in the fjords of Norway. But what's the show about? We review the latest rock albums, rate them out of 5, and see if they hit our Hall of Fame. Today's offering is a returning album band who is currently already in our Hall of Fame. It's Ghost. Their previous album Impera, which was fantastic, got a 4.1 from us and is in our Hall of Fame. So I was very, very looking forward to the follow-up, because I did like that album. And it's called, the album is called Skeletá. And let's find out, shall we, whether or not they will continue those high levels. Dom, somebody who always we put on a pedestal and always look forward to, and always delivers. Did Ghost deliver for you?
Well, to a degree, right? See, there's a thing, I think, about Ghost particularly. I find them a bit of a conundrum. Essentially, they know that they are OTT. There's something almost kind of pantomime about their kind of shock rock, and then there's elements of it really, really retro metal, which I like. You know what? I hear like a bit of Journey or Survivor in their sound. It's like that kind of retro style, which is lovely, which is really appealing, but I don't think they provide everything that their image gives. You know, I'm expecting more. I'm expecting something a little bit darker, a little bit nastier, a little bit more, a little bit more that matches the image that they give. You know, when you look at their song titles and the artwork they deliver, is just awesome. Obviously, their stage presence, and they dress up and they take on these personas. And then I find the music is a little bit mild for me. Like a good example, there's a song in there called Satanized, right? And but it's like a really jolly song. It's like really in a kind of nice, uplifting, major. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely
devil worship. Yeah,
it's a dancey track. It really is, which I think is the point. I think that's what they're doing. Is that their whole aesthetic is about, it's like delivering evil in a kind of unsettlingly nice package. You know, it's a bit like Pennywise in the It movie. You know, it looks like a smiling little happy clown and then eats your face off or something like that. So I enjoyed the album. I enjoyed it for what it was. But you know, I didn't think it was their best. I mean, I've heard much better from Ghost, in my opinion.
Right. Well, Cully, what do you think?
This is another one of those ones that I'm not sure if it hit the right time or not. Musically, there's subtlety, there's layering, there's a whole load of deep and atmospheric tone in there, and I quite like the way that combines with his voice, just to give a nice contrast. And I again, with some bands and some songs and some rock music, it's kind of like that sort of relentless driving music that's going to pick you up and drag you along and take you along for the journey and that sort of stuff. Most of the time, this is what that did. There are a couple of sort of slower songs like Guiding Light that feels a bit more introspective, a bit more getting your brain working and that sort of thing. And it's a good album, but again, I can't decide whether I like it or not. And I kind of really sort of sit on the fence, kind of like what Don was saying, where the themes of the lyrics don't really match the themes of the music. It's kind of like, hey, let's all go worship the devil, people. What's the worst that can happen? That sort of thing. And it's just sort of a bit. Some of the music is a bit jolly for the genre they're talking about, and then other times it's kind of the music sort of slows down a bit and it makes you think a bit more and that sort of stuff. So it was, again, kind of like with Sign of the Wolf. I liked the music, but I didn't like the album this month, and it's just a really odd kind of unsettled feeling, sort of in the middle as to If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And I can't really say anything more than that.
No,
Unfortunately,
I think I know where you're coming from. You're almost willing yourself to like the album, and you listen to it again, and you go like, well, you can't put your finger on it, but yeah, but that's what listening pleasure's all about. Andy, what about you?
I'm going to add to everything there because I fully agree with both Dom and Cully on this. It feels like it should be different to what it is, in a way, this album. This is Ghost, I think it's their 6th album now. So you kind of like know what you should get because you've got the imagery, you've got the how they dress, how they present themselves, everything like that through for it. But it does feel like it's a little bit too polished, and it doesn't have the edge which you want from them anymore, really, too much. From it, it's still good. It's still good to listen to, but it just doesn't quite go to where it is. I'd sum up like they're like effectively like the modern day Kiss, in that Kiss present themselves a certain way with like all the madness and everything like that, but the music doesn't quite match up with it and everything like that through for it. I think there is a point because this is now their 6th album where does how they present themselves start to take away from the actual music. I think this might be sort of like maybe the tipping point for them a little bit through for it because you go so far on this without either coming a bit stale or change it to a point where it comes a bit silly in a way. It's like the single which they've got on it, which is Lacrima, is all about like vampires. He's dressing up as a vampire and stuff like that through for it, and it's just like it doesn't quite work the same way as it did. So it's still good to listen to. They're still great musicians and still great music, but it just doesn't quite work in the same way it might have done in the past.
Paul, agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I kind of agree, definitely. So look, for Swedish rockers Ghost on their 6th album, Skeletá, they definitely entered the more melodic metal mode. Seductive in an almost muted, washed-out version of the kind of music Rush used to produce, but without the fire and political clout. Skeletá is another superbly produced offering from one of the hottest metal bands out there at the moment. Maybe they'd be overtaken by Sleep Token. I'm not sure, but it is full of lyrics that are darkly satirical and catchy, blurring the lines between reverence, horror, and humour, accumulated in Marks of the Evil One, a track about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Is it as convincing as the previous album, Impera, or indeed Prequelle? I'm just not convinced.
Yeah, interesting. One of the things that Trish really enjoyed the album, and I like the fact that it's a track Cenotaph, which had a different sound compared to the bread and butter sound Ghosts are known for. But Umbra, which is also my favourite track, she can imagine on Stranger Things, and I think that it's almost you're right in what you're saying. It's almost like soundtracks to that type of genre, but it doesn't quite fit it doesn't quite fit it, but it's really good. I enjoyed the album. I can't agree with everybody. It was an enjoyable album, but in comparison to Impera, I don't think it even gets close to how good Impera was. It just. Yeah, apart from Umbra, because I think there's about 3 or 4 tracks I loved from Impera. Apart from Umbra and maybe Cenotaph, it was just something, and it was almost to the point where I thought they went too prog rocky in that way, which I'm not a huge fan of. It didn't go totally there. They brought it back, and yeah, it was just a bit of a mishmash for me, and it didn't quite flow as well as Impera did. It was still a high quality album, but it just didn't hit the heights for me either. But let's find out then. Will this also hit or get into our Hall of Fame and have 2 albums? It's quite rare to have 2 albums in the Hall of Fame. Right, okay. Start with you then, Dom. What did you give this?
Bang in the middle, number 3.
Number 3. Chris.
Bang in the middle.
Yeah. Oh, you're always in the middle, Dom. Always in the middle.
Yeah, treasure territory now.
Chris.
So I give this a 3 as well.
Cool. And Andy.
I gave it a 4, but it was still a good album, but it just wasn't up there.
I agree. I also give it a 4. Trish give it a 4.5. Now then, Paul, if
Don't spoil it, Paul. Build it up.
If Paul gives this a 4.5 or a 5, it also now gets into our Hall of Fame. So, Paul, once again, all resides with you, my friend. Let's find out. Ghost.
There's only one thing I got to say to that. It's a 4 from me, and I was being generous.
You were being generous with you. Fantastic. Okie dokie. Who's you know what, Chris? We'll drop yours. We'll drop your 3, my friend. And we will move on. It got 3.9. It did not reach our Hall of Fame, unfortunately not. So, but there we go. Right then, let's say thank you, and we will fade away as ghosts of the night that we are. Do you agree, my fellow listeners, my fellow rock fans? Hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know. And thank you very much to my wonderful panel today. And tune in for episode 4 of our May Rock Reviews. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.